There we go. Bada bing, bada boom.
There we go. Got the alert.
Now it's working. So we didn't mess a whole lot with the latency and everything. We did some other exploring and stuff, so it is because it's about a 15 to 20 second lag, I think, from when we talk to when they hear it. So like,
Yeah.
it's not that it's behind, it's just that it's not,
Yeah. Just a little delay there.
It's the internet, essentially. That's what it is. It's the internet. But we'll let some peeps get up in here. I'm gonna shoot a couple texts out. Actually, I should probably post something on Twitter. Huh?
Yeah, we gotta get this. Yeah. Hopefully, they sent it out. Remember last time?
Yeah, last time it didn't do it, did it?
Yeah, it did.
Oh yeah, it did. It sent it out automatically. You're right. We'll let some peeps get up in here. Hey, mute that. There we go. Oh, sorry, just talking to myself.
Live and in the flesh. 3 peeps up in here. Right out.
I'm just posting to the socials here. We're getting set here.
Yes, sir.
Try to post it on mine as well. So
Yeah. What up, peeps?
all right.
Looking good.
So I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking. I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm thinking.
Let's do it.
One is, can I pop this out? I can pop it out. There we go. Let's pop out this chat over here. There we go. Now I got a little window. I don't have to look at the whole thing. That'll make things a little bit easier.
Somebody peeking in behind you there.
I know. I saw him. I heard him. Know what they're doing? Trespassing. That's what they're doing. Trespassing. So we've got national championship game tonight.
Tonight.
Gonzaga,
Drew
Baylor.
Timmy, baby. Drew Timmy.
I called it. Gonzaga, Baylor. I called it. Check my. You can check my thing. Check my bracket. I had them.
Yeah, buddy.
Let me go to this. Let me check my bracket here. Where is it? NCAA bracket. Here we go. Why is this not updated? It doesn't show the national championship game up here. That's weird. So what did you think? Because you texted me and you said, "Oh, quite a finish to the Gonzaga UCLA game," and I was like, "Never a doubt."
That was spectacular. Let me tell you, it's if every college basketball game was going to end in that fashion, or we were going to get that level of excitement, man, I'd be tuned in all the time. This is the time when I tend to kind of start, taking a peek at it, just because we're getting to crunch time now. But
gangsters, what's up,
yeah,
guys?
it was a heck of a finish, and I don't even think you can call it, luck. To be honest with you, I mean, those are shots that guys are making nowadays with no problem.
Standard jump shots from half court.
Oh, yeah.
It
Yeah.
was. I mean, the thing was, the whole game was back and forth. I mean, this was a tight game. The one thing I love the most is that UCLA has a huge fan base, regardless of the sport. And I saw a lot of reaction videos when they tied the game up, and they're all freaking out, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
just killed the whole room, and I loved it because I was like, you play to the buzzer. You play to the buzzer, man. That's what you got to do. Drew Timmy came up 25 points. Um, but Jalen Suggs, man, coming in clutch. Had 13 points until the last shot. Got an extra 3 points there at the end.
Yeah.
So
I tell you what, I was talking to somebody over the weekend, and I was telling them, when you have a guy like I don't know how to say his last name. Is it Jusang or for UCLA, who has
Yeah.
27 points in the game,
29.
and well, yeah, 27
Yeah.
going into the overtime.
Yeah.
He's your leading scorer. He's getting you buckets at will. He's the guy that's making the machine roll. And when you don't give him the ball on almost every single possession in overtime, you kind of did it to yourself. You know what I mean? You did it to yourself, because that's a guy that needs to touch the ball in every possession coming down the stretch and letting the offense roll off of him, whether that be him taking it to the basket, jump shot, whatever it is, or finding a guy and kicking it out. That's a guy that needs to touch the ball every possession.
Yeah, and I mean he had a great tournament. I mean the game against Michigan he put up 28, put up 29 against Gonzaga, 27 against BYU, and I mean shout out to UCLA, man. They for being an 11 seed. I mean to push it to the final shot. I mean you got to give them some credit, but this is the team that I think everyone was expecting to go to the championship. For the last few years, everyone's been expecting Gonzaga to do something, and finally they have made it. And to go up against Baylor, it's gonna be interesting because Baylor convincingly beat Houston. There was no question in that. They play a lot of guys. They play everybody on their bench essentially. Even if it's for a minute or two, everybody's getting in. But it's gonna be a good matchup, man. But this is where you find out how good Drew Timmy is. This is where you find out if I gotta find a Gonzaga Drew Timmy jersey. I'm gonna have to look for one. I'm gonna have to look for one.
Yeah.
They gotta be somewhere. They gotta be floating around somewhere.
Yeah. He it's funny because again, just over the weekend talking to some folks about the game and what we watched, and is he gonna be a Tyler Hansbrough? Is he gonna be is he gonna be one of these guys that plays in the tournament? Frank the Tank, what's his name, Morrison from Gonzaga from years ago.
Adam Morrison.
Is he gonna be one of these guys that is just an NCAA, March Madness guy, or is his game going to translate to the next level? I mean, somebody's going to have to take a flyer on him one way or another, right? In the draft, somebody's going to have to pick him up. But is he going to be a Jimmer Fredette, 2-3 years, and then he's playing overseas somewhere if he wants to continue playing basketball? You know what I mean? Is he what kind of guy is he going to be? In the next level. I mean, I'm excited to see him play. I like his heart and hustle, and kind of the short shorts, the throwback look that he brings, and he's got a strong game, but is it strong enough to translate to the next level and be able to play with the big boys in the NBA?
Well, I'm rocking the Gonzaga red tonight behind me, but I'm going to tell you, he's going to be the second coming of the White Mamba. Okay, Brian Scalabrine. That's my guess. Okay.
Okay.
That's my guess. See, Killer, what up, man? That I just I like his play style. I like his look. He's got a good look about him. He's not your typical basketball look kind of guy. And I think that's why one thing is he's going to sell jerseys. He's going to sell. Everybody wants a jersey with Timmy on the back. Come on. Yeah. I mean, other than Dwayne Bacon, I think it's got to be the second leading jersey sale in the country. So who knows? But that game is going to be tonight at 9:20.
9:20 tip off. 9:20 tip. Yep, 9:20 tip is what we're looking at. So I'm excited to check it out. I mean, I don't know if I'll last the whole game. I wake up a little early for the job, but I am going to try to make it as much as I can because uh, it's the game that everybody's talked about all season long, right? Even though I don't watch a whole lot of it, and I have talked about that, but I do know that Baylor is the team that everybody wanted to see against Gonzaga. Um, so it's gonna be quite the matchup, man. I'm excited about it. I haven't been excited about an NCAA basketball game in quite some time, so I think it's gonna be pretty cool.
You know, I'm pumped about it. But let's talk. We got some big headlines in the NFL that I wanted to touch base with you on. I know NCAA. I wanted to cover it quick before tip off, so we kind of got that
Yeah,
out of the way. But let's talk real quick. Tampa Bay Bucks. Two things.
yeah, yeah.
One, this is a small one, but we can probably get into it. Tom Brady rookie card sold
Big
for
money.
$2.25 million on Friday. C Killa, he's a big card guy right now in the chat.
Yeah,
2.25 million. Now, the card industry right now is booming. It's
yeah.
more than booming. Now, granted, the 2.25 million. Now, this card wasn't just your average Tom Brady rookie card. This was 1 out of 100, out of a limited set, autographed.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of these floating around. I mean, it was rated at an 8.5 out of 10, which is not even
Okay.
that's not even that good. 8.5, and it wasn't even a PSA grading, so it wasn't that good. But to go for 2.25 million, now this doesn't beat the all-time uh, selling card. The What was it? I think it was a 1952 Mickey Mantle card that went for over 5 million. Now that's the record. I don't think anything's ever going to beat that. But
I don't know,
I
man. That
mean,
Honest Wagner or whatever it is seems to make a lot of money every time it changes hands.
yeah, yeah, but the thing is I don't think it's maybe. Here's the thing: if you had your hands on a card like that you knew was worth it, okay. What are you buying with it? If you personally, you get $2.25 million for your Tom Brady rookie card, what are you buying
With my money?
with your money? Now, obviously, you're going
Mm,
to pay off all your. Let's figure high, okay? Let's take the 0.25 of the million, which is 250K. You pay off all your debt. House is paid. Everything.
okay.
All your debts are paid. So now you got $2 million. What are you buying with $2 million?
Mm. I mean, you got to get a cool car, I guess. You have to be able to get the cool car.
So you buy
but
something that instantly depreciates in value.
yeah. Well, no. I mean, I guess you get the cool car, but that's not a big chunk of the money. It's probably going to be somewhere in the real estate market. I mean,
So no
that's what I'm
Bitcoin.
putting my money into. Not Bitcoin out right now. I would put it into real estate and kind of roll that way. But I was gonna say, and I am gonna say, now that you mentioned Bitcoin, it's funny that all these cards are doing what they're doing nowadays, considering that the NFT market is booming the way it is. And I don't think there's that it's no coincidence that the actual physical card market um, it is kind of taken off because everybody's doing the digital thing and the NFTs and all that other stuff. And people are. I think there's a little bit of time when something initially takes off for people to go back to the old school way, if you will, if you can call cards,
Hmm.
card collecting an old school thing. But where we're trending right now with the NFTs and all this digital media, whether it be art or cards or like I told you, I bought an NBA Top Shot,
Hmm.
just to have one, because it's kind of the new thing moving forward. So you start seeing people and start seeing these things kind of come back into the spotlight, and then you see big money start happening. So I don't think that's going to be a long-term thing. I think eventually the NFT thing is going to be the thing. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but I think that's where we're headed. It's the digital wave.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's Tom Brady. What can I say? I mean, the guy just continues to break records some way, shape, or form, whether it be on the field and now off the field. So yeah, I mean, kudos to whomever had 2.25,
$2.25 million just laying around. No big deal.
to throw at a Tom Brady card. I mean, that's pretty cool, I guess.
Somebody in Tampa, I would
yeah.
assume. Got to be a Bucks fan.
Most likely, most likely. The other big news today, for the fans of the Jets. Finally, is going. They got rid of Sam Darnold, and they moved on, and they have shipped him out to the Panthers
For nothing.
For nothing. Which I think, depending on who they go with, can come back to bite them in the behind, because I don't think. And remember, I'm a Pats fan. I'm in that division. I don't think that that he's a bad quarterback. I really don't. The guy can ball. He hasn't, health has been an issue with him, and then more importantly, coaching has been a huge issue with him. And the fact that he's had ineffective coaching, and just flat out, just bad organization, around him, has not helped him. I think he's getting to him, this is the best possible thing that can happen to him.
Yeah.
Going over there with Christian McCaffrey now, you got yourself a stud running back. You have you have some wide receivers. You have a couple guys. I mean, all of a sudden, the guy has a shot. He is going to play against Tom Brady, no longer Drew Brees. We'll have to see what happens with Atlanta, but yeah, it's going to be a nice fresh start for him, and I think it's a clear indication now that the Jets are going to pick a quarterback. I think that they're going to grab a guy, and it's probably going to be the young stud there out of BYU,
Zach Wilson.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Todd McShay, the NFL analyst guy, he already said the Jets are going to take Zach Wilson, which of all the quarterbacks to take that are going to be available, I think he's the safest pick. I think you kind of know what you're getting with him, compared to like a Justin Fields, who actually could help your team explode if he turns out the way that everyone hopes he does, with the dynamic kind of play that he can make. But what I thought was kind of cool was now Teddy Bridgewater is I'm assuming going to be the starter in Carolina. But now you've got Sam Darnold at quarterback, and you've got Dan Arnold at tight end. Are we going to have a Darnold and Arnold trick play setting up in Carolina? Because I could, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just you could put Sam Darnold in an Arnold jersey, use him as a decoy. I mean, the possibilities are endless with the Darnold and Arnold play. I don't know. That's just me. I'm a trick play kind of guy. That's me.
Yeah. We'll see. I think Teddy Bridgewater, I think, is going to be moved. There was several teams that were interested in him last year in the off season. I don't think he had a terrible season. I'd have to go back and look at his numbers, but I don't think he had a terrible season. He did lose his running back, which never helps, and his all-star, potential best running back in the league. That's a big loss when you lose a guy like that.
Oh yeah.
So I don't think he's getting a fair shake. I just think that Carolina, you can't pass on you're giving up nothing.
Oh, they got him on clearance, essentially.
Upside.
Yeah.
Tremendous upside to it's, again, you're getting him for nothing. I guess the Jets, I can't fault them either. They, what's his name? Is it Zach Wilson from BYU? I think from seeing some of the video from him, just watching him, call me a hater, you can call me what you want, but I am gonna say it here, and we have the tape now. I think he's gonna be the better pro, even better than Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to be the guy. As much as they want to put Trevor Lawrence out there, I don't think he's going to be a bust. But I just think that when guys come out of schools the way that he's coming out of,
right.
They tend to play. Their play shows a lot more. Now, that can come back to bite me in the ass, because it can be that Trevor Lawrence hasn't shown everything that he has because he hasn't had to. But we talked about, I think, last week, some of these guys that come out of these big schools that get up so big, they tend to be so much better than everybody else. They just don't, their packages are not like these crazy elaborate packages, like some of these other guys that come from the other schools. That's why we've seen, Carson Wentz, had success before he got hurt.
He's a bum.
Well,
Sorry.
I think he's gonna have a hell of a year this year with the Colts. I think it might be some kind of a comeback player of the year. But you'll see these guys come from smaller schools and tend to do their thing. I just think it is what it is. And Timmy Senior is on the chat with us here today, which we're pumped about.
The legend.
Welcome aboard.
The legend is in the chat.
Welcome aboard. Yes. And he said, what did he just say? So yeah, I said it, Timmy. You heard me right. I think he's going to end up being the better pro, and I can probably eat my words. And if I am, I'm always the first guy to put my hand up and say, well, I screwed that up. But I just think that I think that that's what's gonna end up happening. As you move forward.
Well, and can you really think of any quarterbacks that were from top schools that have gone on to be successful in the NFL? I mean, there used to be a lot. Like, it used to be whoever went number one was the guy. Peyton Manning back in the day. Cam Newton, had a great. I mean, he's had a great career. Take away some of the stuff he's done, but he still won an NFL MVP. You look at guys like Deshaun Watson, who's still a great player. Top 5 quarterback. Went to Auburn. No, Clemson. Auburn. One of those two.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Clemson. Clemson. Yep.
Cam Newton went to Auburn, and
right.
So I mean, there are quarterbacks that come out of these big schools that are successful. Now, we haven't seen one, that has changed the game the way that Peyton did, coming out, being recruited out of Tennessee. But you could be onto something. It's possible because when you come from a smaller school, you have nothing to prove because they're like, well, if you fail, well, I went to BYU. I mean, what do you expect, But now, if he steps up, a guy like Carson Wentz who went to North Dakota State, it was the same thing. It's like, who is it? Like, I didn't even know who Carson Wentz was until the draft came up.
Even Jared Goff had some success. Where did Jared Goff go to school?
Jared Goff went to Steve Christmas Community College, I think, in California.
Look at the guy with the Chargers right now. What's his name? The rookie this year.
Herbert.
Justin Herbert. Where did he go to school?
Justin Herbert went to I don't know.
Okay, it wasn't a major college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where did he go to college?
Where did Aaron Rodgers go to school?
Oh, I knew that one.
Did he go to Cal?
Yeah. Justin
Cal.
Herbert went to Oregon.
Okay, but is Oregon the powerhouse? Everybody always wants to Oregon,
right? You better hold on talking trash about Oregon because the GOAT, the legend in the chat right now, is an elite Oregon Ducks fan, man. You got to tread lightly on that one.
Okay, but even the GOAT has to admit that nobody wants to. That they're always one of the teams that's disrespected, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Always the team that people are like, well, they should be in the conversation. Why are they not? Because at the end of the day, people want to disrespect them, right?
They always look the best, though.
Hey, they look phenomenal. Let me tell you, if they were just giving out touchdowns for your style, I mean, they'd be going into every game. Every game they go in at winning. You know what I mean? Yeah. But my point is, you look at the quarterbacks over the years that have done well, and you look at the quarterbacks that are there now. Matt Ryan had some good years. Yeah, he's probably on the back nine of his career, but from Boston College,
he's on his way. He's on his way to the beer cart. Is where he is.
Yeah, he's definitely 17th, probably halfway through that 17th hole, well on his way to the 18th, and then out of there. But you look at these guys, as you look through the divisions, none of them came from these major programs. They tend to kind of fizz out when they do that. Cam Newton went to 2 major programs. Cam Newton was just a flash in the pan. It's the same thing with Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? These guys are not.
Well, he went to Louisville though. That's a no-name school, kind of. I mean, it's not a no-name school,
but I'm just saying that it's just the type of play that unfortunately, just doesn't.
Right.
That type of play just doesn't pan out in the NFL long term.
Translate.
You look at Patrick Mahomes. What school did he go to? I mean, he went to what? Texas? Was it one of the Techs?
Texas
it
Tech?
Texas Tech?
I think it was Texas Tech.
Might have been, yeah, but it wasn't. They're not major
Right.
schools. You know, they tend to their competition level because of where they're at tends to be high, you know, at a higher level as far as the position is concerned versus a guy that's going to Alabama like we talked about last week.
Mac Jones.
You know, going to Clemson, going to you know, any of these schools where you're up 50, you know, after the first
Right.
quarter, and then they're just handing the ball off to your, you know, future first round pick running back, you know what I mean,
Right.
who's killing people. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is. You know, you have high end wide receivers whom you can do the Dante Culpepper with Randy Moss, just chuck the thing up there, and those guys
Legend.
will bail you out.
Another legend.
You know what I mean? So again, I mean that's just the way I see it. I mean, Trevor Lawrence can surprise the crap out of me, and he turns out to be the next coming of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning combined.
Man,
But I
he might have
just,
to
I
cut
just
his
don't
hair.
think that. Yeah, definitely. I just don't see it. I just don't see that happening.
So my other Bucks thing I want to touch on. This was cornerback Carlton Davis apologizing for using essentially racial slurs against Asians, not Asian Americans, all Asians. Basically saying they need to stop letting expletive into Miami. Posted this on Twitter, I believe. Went on to say, "Oh no, you know, they're in South Florida, you know, we use Urban Dictionary describes that word as this and this. It's still still just
Yeah.
derogatory.
Yeah.
But you know, with the way the NBA has done it, you know, with using defamatory language and stuff on social media, do you foresee a fine coming out of this from the NFL? Because this is, especially with where we're at in the world right now, and with you know, a lot of the Asian Americans, everything's kind of under fire with the, you know,
anything in general to me. It doesn't matter what it is.
But this in particular is
I'm
a very
not-
touchy subject right now.
Well, yeah, and I'm not downplaying what he said. I don't know the exact quote or the exact words that he said, but either I did hear a little bit about it. You know, Herm Edwards always said, you know, just don't hit send. Just don't hit send. You know what I mean? For crying out loud. I mean, we live in a world where you have to be very careful with what you say. Clearly, when he was out of line with what he said, I mean, you just don't say it anyway.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's like, come on, man. Are you that dumb, that stupid that you don't realize that, you know, anything that you say, it's going to be out there and you can't take it back. I mean, people are just going to push that all over social media, all over the place. And it's going to get out. It's going to spread like wildfire. You're just playing, you know, you're on a team that won a Super Bowl that has a lot of attention on them already. You know what I mean? You're playing in the most popular sport. You come out and you say some stupid crap like that, it's gonna come back to bite you in the behind. And at the end of the day, he is going to get fined, and he's probably going to get fined a hefty amount of money, and it's deserved. You know, and he's going to have to do some image rebuilding and see how that goes. You know.
Well, and I think the issue I have is that you like, don't defend yourself and say this is why I said it, and then apologize. You know, and then blame the media. Yeah. You're blaming the media because you said it. And then you try to defend yourself. If you're going to defend yourself, don't apologize for what you said. If that's not what you meant, then don't apologize. You're not sorry for what you said if that's not what you meant. But the fact of the matter is that you're an idiot if you don't know what that word means normally. Yeah. Like, you have no business. Just can't. Like, if you're Tampa right now, you've got to listen, bro. Give me your cell phone. I'm going to change all your social media passwords. You're not allowed to say anything to anybody because you're an idiot. Then that's it. I mean, if you're Tom Brady, you got to sit this guy down and say, listen, man, you know, I need you to put a hoodie on, and when you go in to talk to people in the media, don't say anything, okay? Just straight up pull a Bill Belichick. Don't say anything, because right now, your mouth is bigger than your brain, apparently, and it just, there's no excuse for it. I mean, you know, say what you want behind closed doors. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But when you go out on social media and you have a platform like this that you're on, you just won a Super Bowl. You're a big name right now, and you say, I just don't get it. I don't get what goes through their heads, man. I mean, I get they're human, but come on, man. You gotta be smarter than that.
Yeah, it's. I don't understand how these guys nowadays just don't quite get it. You know what I mean? It's social media, man. It's out there. It's not going to go away. It's ridiculous. I mean, the fact that they are, they're still saying stuff like this is just it's beyond me. I just don't get it, man. It's crazy.
So I
It
did
is what
see
it is.
to switch subjects here, not to get too political.
Yeah.
The Texas Rangers, I believe, had their first game at 100% capacity, and
Yeah, I was gonna ask
there
about that. Yeah, what's
there
your
has
thoughts on
been
that?
a lot of support on one side and a lot of blowback on the other side. With the
Not
COVID
surprising.
stuff going on, and I think it was expected. I think this was a move that they made. This is a decision that they
Mm-hmm.
made. All the people at the game, they know the risks. They know what they're getting involved in,
Mm-hmm.
and who is
Right.
anybody to judge them on this? And that's where
Yeah.
I with the whole COVID thing, there's a lot of question marks for me personally with the whole situation with the vaccine, with the getting the vaccine and still needing to wear a mask and still need to social distance. It just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe someone will be able to explain it to where I can understand it, but this is the world moving forward. This is our country moving forward, and this is the state of Texas moving forward and saying this is how we're going to handle things. We need to get back to normality. We can't live our life under a rock pretending that the world's over, because at some point people got to get out of the house. And
Yeah.
I support it 100%. I think if you want to make the move and you want to do what you want to do, then you do it. You make that decision. Personally, would I do it? Sure. I'm all about it. I mean, you're still gonna be smart about it. I'm not saying do something
Mm-hmm.
stupid and start coughing on people, but you know, be smart about it. I'm sure there's still checking temperatures, people coming in and this and that, but um,
Yeah.
it's a big move for baseball, and it's getting a lot of attention. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I kind of sit on the fence on this one. I personally, with my family, we suffered, a loss due to COVID. So, it obviously to like a lot of people, it becomes very personal, right? So, I look at it and I say, yeah, it is a way of moving forward. It is, a way of trying to get back to some normalcy, which we all crave and are looking for. You know, but unfortunately, where I kind of see it as well is that you have to sometimes protect people from themselves, because I know from knowing you to me that you're going to go out there and you're going to be safe and you're going to try to do everything in your power to keep yourself and your family safe and and do the social distancing and not be on top of a crowd of people. um Unfortunately, there's other people out there that just you give them a little bit and they take a whole lot. Case in point, Miami. You know what I mean? They try to open things up a little bit, and they ended up having to put a curfew because people were just going crazy. Now, like you said, I mean, it's very true. You know what you're going into. You bought a ticket, and you know what the capacity is going to be. You know where you're putting yourself. The mix that you're putting yourself into. So I'm kind of 50-50 on it, just because I have seen way too many people that unfortunately just you have to protect them from themselves and the rest of the people from those types of people. But then there are a lot of people that are very responsible that deserve the opportunity to be to be given the benefit of the doubt to go out there and do the right thing and enjoy a baseball game and take your kid out there to enjoy a baseball game and a sport, and just feel normal again and be out there getting some fresh air, enjoying the game. And um, I mean, man, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for for seeing more and more fans come back. I just get a little bit afraid with just the ones out there that are just not going to be quite as careful as what I know that you and I would be out there. That's where I'm a little hesitant, but I'm excited to see fans. I'm excited to see
yeah,
fans. I like watching games and hearing the fan reactions. And I think the players feed off of that. I think the game is better when the fans are there because the players feed off of that. So I'm definitely for trying to get them back in there. I just worry that, you know, so many people in one place, and I did actually just today, I was talking to somebody who was in Texas this weekend. They were there for a wedding, and they said their words to me was Ricardo and in Texas, it's like COVID doesn't exist. It's just clearly he said I was definitely an outsider because I was wearing my mask and people were looking at me like, what are you doing? So yeah, I mean, if there's a state that was going to go ahead and do it first, I'm not surprised that they're out there, kind of leading the way with that.
So we also had a loss. Now this was a big loss to the football world. If anybody's been around, I know Pops has been around. He's going to know who this is. But we lost Ohio State football great Mike Sensabaugh. Died at 72, cardiac issue. But if you guys don't know Mike Sensabaugh, man, definitely look him up. Guy had I think he's all-time leader with 22 interceptions for Ohio State. Back in the 60s, early 70s, played 7 seasons in the NFL, had 27 interceptions, which is impressive. Yeah, he his team was one of the ones that took out SC when they had Heisman Trophy winner O.J. Simpson. So something to look into, man. Mike Sensabaugh is a legend. Dead at 72,
Yeah.
man. Big loss.
Well, I want to liven it up a little bit, and I know that we have I know that your Pops he's a pro of many things. You know what I mean? I think we can go to him for quite a bit, but
The
baseball,
list is
I know,
endless.
is one of his passions, and with baseball starting up this past week and into the weekend, already had quite a bit of action, and one of the feel good stories of the weekend and the season thus far is coming out of Detroit. Akil Badu is a young man, 22 years old, who got in there and has what is been called a smooth swing. And he goes out there on his very first pitch in the major leagues, and he hits a home run.
Gonzo.
I know we've seen that in the past, but it's always cool to see that. You know what I mean? It's what a way to introduce yourself into the league and to kind of get that pressure off you, right? Hey, you go up there. I just want to get a hit. I just want to get a hit. I just want to get a hit. Bam. Oh,
Yard.
That's a hit. Yeah, that thing is gone. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, he goes out there and second game, and my man gets a grand slam. So that's a way to start your career. You know what I mean? Home run.
I mean, you're on the
First pitch
top of
ever
the
in the
mountain now.
majors.
There's no getting better than, like, now it's expected of you. That's the only problem. You go out there
Yeah.
your first game,
Yeah.
maybe ground out, maybe get a little dying quail out there in the outfield and get on a single. Then you can start getting a little
Yeah.
flash. But you open up with a
Yeah.
home run and then you go with a I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
You go with the grand salami. I'm just saying. Now
You
the
send that ball
expectations are there.
really high up there.
You've sent a message. They're going to start pitching you inside,
Yeah.
because now you set a precedent. And I don't agree with it. I don't agree with them hitting home runs. I just got to say it. You can't come out of the gate that quick, man. You got to be smart about this.
And let me tell you, and to one up him, if you can, is I'm looking for his last name, first name Mercedes, my man coming out of the White Sox.
Mercedes Lewis, tight end,
No.
Jacksonville.
He is this young man. You want to talk about a way to start the season in your career? He goes out there and he goes 8 for 8 to start a game. How about that?
That's pretty impressive.
How about that? And
Is he playing softball? He's a baseball player?
All kinds of RBIs out there. The guy is, that's a feel-good story. If you want, another one there. Just a lot of good stuff happening with baseball, which, I'm trying my best to get back into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
America's pastime no more because of the NFL, but I think a sport that can find its way back into the hearts of people if they just do things the right way. I'm trying to find this young man's
His
name
name's
here.
Yerman Mercedes.
Yerman. There
Yeah.
you go. Yerman. What a name.
The thing I don't like about him though is he's got that like 12-pound gold chain he wears around his neck, and I can't imagine sliding into second with that thing head first. I mean, that's gotta.
Yeah.
If that thing catches, man, you're gone. I mean, it's gonna rip your head off.
Yeah.
I never understood playing with jewelry on. That's just, I never could do it. You want to put like one of those what was it? Who was the biker guy? Lance Armstrong bracelets or something around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to wear
Yep.
one of those. I get it, but like playing with chains on and necklaces and earrings and I don't
Yeah.
get it. You know, he might as well just. That's like Tom Brady just playing with all the Super Bowl rings on. Like, whatever,
Yeah.
no big
Yeah.
deal.
I've always thought it was kind of funny to see these guys out there doing that, wearing all their jewelry and all their stuff. It's remember when what's his name played for the 49ers.
Steve Young, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice,
No, wide receiver.
Jerry
Michael,
Michael,
Uh,
Mike Allstott.
no. But he got into it with
Oh, yeah, Michael
you
Crabtree,
know what I'm talking about. Michael Crabtree had his chain out there and got yanked off by
Richard Sherman.
What's his name? I don't think it was Richard Sherman. I think it was what's his name that played out there with he started off with the Carolina Panthers, then he went out to he's actually with the Buffalo Bills right now. His name escapes me.
What?
But yeah.
Oh,
Remember
Aqib
he yanked
Talib.
off was it Aqib? Yeah, it was Aqib Talib.
It
Never
was
mind.
Aqib Talib, yep.
I was thinking about somebody else, but it was Aqib Talib, and he yanked that thing off, and then they got into it. And it's like, bro, why are you even wearing a chain to begin with? You know what I mean? You're playing football.
He did it twice. Remember, he ripped it off twice.
Yeah.
Like that was.
Yeah.
Those guys
Classic.
did not like each other, man.
No.
But I
Those
will say
guys
with
were-
the Yerman Mercedes stat here, you threw at me the 8 for 8. Now you like, do you know how many times that has happened?
I'm guessing you're gonna tell me here right
I'm
now.
going to
I don't
tell
know.
you. So dating back to the year 1900, okay, not dating back to the 1900s, the
Okay.
year 1900. He's the first one to do it.
Wow.
Since
Wow.
at least the year 1900, since the statisticians have been keeping track. That's the
Man.
first time it's ever been done. So that is a stat, and I'm glad that you pointed that out because normally I catch something like that, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm slacking
Yeah.
here, but
Mr.
that's,
Mercedes. Let me tell you, he'd be driving a lot of Mercedes if he keeps that up.
I'm
Here,
telling you,
Yeah.
he was the first one to go 5 for 5 and 8 for 8. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I mean, what a way to start. I mean, that's unbelievable.
So we got a question in the chat. I think we need to address this.
Okay.
What is the best backfield of all time? The best backfield. Now we're talking running back, tight end combo, or running back combo. Either one. Now you gotta think a little bit, okay? Because you can go back to the Chicago Bears with Walter Payton or not Walter Payton with Gale Sayers and Brian Piccolo. You know, we can go back there. We can go to the Bucks when they had Mike Allstott. We can go.
That was the first one that came to my mind.
Who was it?
Mike Allstott, and it's probably because I was watching a video of his the other day. Somebody put a mashup online on social, and I was watching it. And man, Mike Allstott was he was something else.
Work done in Mike Allstott. Now, see, you gotta think outside of your box and get into my box and think about two guys named Mike Allstott and what's his name? Daryl Johnston, the Moose.
The Moose.
Okay, Emmitt Smith, the greatest running back of all time, the most yards in the history of the world. You know who was blocking for him? The Moose. You know who got the shout out at the Hall of Fame induction, Emmitt Smith? He said, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. To the Moose.
Yeah.
I gotta go with that. Troy Aikman.
So when you go, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying because Big Tim is throwing out there QB, running back, fullback, as a combo. I mean, I think you're hitting the nail on the head right there.
Three
when
Super
you look
Bowls.
At it, yeah. Got a stud quarterback.
Good looking. I mean, just all-American looking quarterback, I mean, the guy's just, he's still a stud. He's getting better looking. He's like Tom Brady. He gets better looking the older he gets. I don't know what it is.
He's doing that TB12 method on the, on the low.
That's what he's in the hyperbaric chamber. He's getting in there every day. But I got to go with that backfield. And that's not me being a Cowboys fan. That's just me being intelligent and sexy.
And that's me not even being a Cowboy fan saying it's tough to disagree with that.
And
when you're putting all three phases
Right.
in there and you're trying to combine it all into one, have you had better running backs? You can probably say, yes. Have you had maybe a single better, fullback? Maybe. Have you had better quarterbacks than Troy Aikman? I mean, absolutely. But when you're looking to put them all together
trifecta.
as one unit, think you're hitting the nail on the head.
Well, and the thing
I
is,
like
you
it.
got to remember the '90s was kind of when the fullback started to fade out. You know, you don't really when the 2000s hit, you didn't really hear a whole lot about the fullback. You know, I think Mike Allstott was probably the last true fullback, and
Yeah.
honestly, you know, he was a running back nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was a third down back essentially is what he
Yeah.
was. So you don't really, you know, it's tough because you can bring up the Super Bowl players, especially with like Tom Brady, something like that, like where okay, you got your centerpiece, but Tom Brady never had the standout running back fullback combo. He never really had that combo, and so
No, he did not.
I think that's where we're at with that. I think that's I'm not going to argue with it because I said it.
And, you
So.
know, it's we're supposed to disagree to make better content, but it's just tough to disagree with that one. You know, truthfully, just because, I mean, like I said, when you're putting all three of them together, it's tough, man.
My little
It's
Cowboys
tough.
hat up there, you see it?
Hey, I see that. I see that little hidden piece out there, huh?
My Easter
Yeah.
egg. You guys got to find those every now and then.
Yeah, yeah.
What do we
I
got
would
next
agree.
on the
I would agree.
docket for man? That was a good one. Staubach,
Yeah.
Garrison, and Hill. He's going back farther. He's going back into like the 70s.
Yeah.
And I wasn't alive to kind of witness that. So I got to go based off of
Yeah.
what I'm seeing on paper.
What we've seen,
Right, right.
through the years. So, yeah, you know,
But I'll put
Hey,
Daryl Johnson and Emmitt Smith up against any other duo.
Yeah.
Other duo.
that's a tough one to get away from. I like that, Timmy. I like that. I'll roll with you on that one. I got your back. We are going to move to our next topic here. Is going to be and I wanted to ask you, who do you have coming into this weekend? It kind of, I don't know about you, but I feel like it's just kind of snuck up on me. But the Masters starts on Thursday. They start on Thursday,
Do they?
and if I'm seeing correct, I believe so. They do start this coming week. Sneaking up on people.
That's exciting.
Jordan Spieth had a big win this weekend. He won the Valero Open out there in his home state of Texas.
Yep.
And which, by the way, again, going back to the fans, I watched a couple rounds of that, a little bit of that, and they had a lot of people out there. A lot of people out there around the greens.
And he won the Masters in
round
2015.
And yeah, he won it. He wanted a little bit ago. It'd been 4 years since Jordan Spieth had won a tournament.
Yeah.
Which is, when you think about it, Jordan Spieth. I mean, that's kind of shocking. I mean, to me, I know many of you out there are not huge golf fans, but I know, Timmy, that you partake in golf and know a little bit about it, and I watch it and enjoy it, and even post Tiger, I've stayed on it and been watching it. So yeah, Jordan Spieth picking up the win.
Is that your pick?
With some momentum? You know what? It is not.
Okay.
It is not. My pick is not going to be a guy that is necessarily hot right now. It's going to be more of a fan pick than anything else, because I'm a big fan of this guy, and it's going to be Tony Finau.
Oh, I was
Big
not
fan of
expecting
Tony
you to
Finau.
say that. Okay.
I'm a big fan of Tony Finau. So I hope that he has a good tournament, and that hopefully he can sport that green jacket and make it do what it do, because he's one of the good guys out there. I mean, I follow him on social media, and big family guy, has a big family, and all about his kids and his wife, and always posting about their vacation or their time, doing stuff together as family. So I'm big on that. And Tony Finau, my pick to win this year's Masters.
Interesting. So Bill brings up a good point. Chairman said that it's going to be hard and fast. They don't want any more minus 20 scores. Now, here's the thing about hard and fast, okay? Because my pick likes it hard. He lives his life hard and fast, okay? So watch him in the tee box, because you might think he's got an extra tee in his pocket, but he's just hard and fast. The one guy I think we should keep an eye on is Brooks Koepka. He's coming back from the knee surgery, so he's thinking he's going to be good to go. But my pick,
which Brooks Koepka, Timmy, real quick, is the great thing about Brooks Koepka is that he doesn't show up for any other tournament other than a major. You know what I mean?
He's trying to get paid, baby.
So yeah, good pick there. Good pick.
But my pick, and I think he's got to hit the Grand Slam eventually, is going to be Rory McIlroy. I think this guy has been fighting demons. He's fighting with his coach, his swing, everybody in the world right now. But this guy can play at Augusta, and I'm hoping Rory McIlroy picks the win. He's going to be my pick to win it. So
Roy McIlroy. That's a good one too. I'm a
Come
fan
on,
of
Rory.
Rory's. It's one of those bucket list things. We have to find a way, Timmy, to get out there to Augusta and take
Let's
in
go.
a Masters
Saturday,
at
we'll
some
drive up
point.
there.
Let's do it. I mean, it's going to be quite a hefty out-of-pocket expense, but I think we can make it work.
Well, gas is going to be expensive. That's the only thing. It's
We're gonna
a
have
golf
to-
course. You just walk in, walk between a couple houses, and you're there on the course.
Excuse me, coming through. Pardon me.
I'm just a yard guy. Don't worry about me. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it must be amazing to take that in and to see it live and in action. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a fun one. And I always enjoy watching, the par 3 competition and watching those guys, with their kids out there, with their families. And, you have Jack Nicklaus out there with, his grandson hitting aces. It's just, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to watch that. So, Masters this week, starting on Thursday. So, a little something for everybody to take in. Yeah, but baseball started up. Has still some football action. NBA. I don't know about you. The NBA to me seems like it's a little.
The
Dead in the
NBA
water.
sucks, man.
There's not a lot happening there.
I can't get into it. I would rather watch Aaron Rodgers guest host Jeopardy than watch a basketball game. And honestly, this is going on because Aaron Rodgers has already come out publicly and said he would host Jeopardy. And I can see him retiring early to do this, which would be awesome. But I would love if Aaron Rodgers. I might get cable again. I think it comes on regular TV, but I would watch every episode of Jeopardy.
He'll probably end up getting a Tony Romo type of deal.
Yeah.
From who's the network that has Jeopardy? Is that ABC?
ABC. It's one of those. ABC, NBC, CBS.
Yeah. But he'll probably get some crazy deal to be the host. I did see a clip earlier today where one of the contestants was kind of clowning him a little bit. Did you see that? So his answer to one of the categories was who. It was something along the lines of who didn't want to kick that field goal because their playoff loss when they should have kicked the field goal and they ended up going for it on 4th down or whatever it was, and they ended up losing. So, man, Big Tim is coming with all kinds of stuff. Best D line of all time. Timmy, we got to do these one at a time, but we can't go to the same one because
the
then
best D line.
We're gonna run out of stuff. But we can put those.
We'll have to address that one next week. Best D line of all time because we can. I mean, I got to do some research on that one because that's a lot of.
Baylor's already up 7-0. Bill,
it's fine.
He's already letting us know.
Yeah, Bill, what are you doing? Don't besmirch the Gonzaga Bulldogs right now. Okay, no besmirching in here. I did see the Bears are going to name Andy Dalton the starter. Let's talk about that. Another ginger starter, man.
Dalton, the Red Rocket out there just, slinging away.
It's the Red Rifle, not the Red Rocket.
That's right. The Red Rocket was the young man that was running out of FSU or whatever it was?
Yeah, that was the ball boy from Florida State.
Yeah.
No, that was Red Lightning. And yes, he did go to the pros. His name was Red Lightning. How
about that for a story? You run balls in college and then you get drafted to the pros to do the same thing.
You get drafted to the pros.
Kids, there's
hope
for everybody, young people out there. There's a place for all of you out there. But Andy Dalton, is he an upgrade from Mitch Trubisky?
Yes. Well, here's the thing. I mean, you got to remember he just quarterbacked the Dallas Cowboys for pretty much the whole season. So it's not like he's been sitting on the bench for the last year.
With incredible weapons, and did he do well?
Well, I mean,
who has better weapons, the Cowboys or the Bears?
Well, you also gotta think that he stepped into an offense that was not designed for him. So you got to take that into account. I mean, he did have a good season. I mean, hold on. You know what? Let's see.
Have to look it up.
I'm gonna have to look this up because now you got me thinking. Okay, let's see. Stats summary. Because he had, let's see, what did he do for the? He started in week 5. How many touchdowns did he throw? 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 13, 14 touchdowns.
Still better than Cam Newton.
Yeah, I mean, his best game was week 16 against the Eagles. So he threw for 377 yards, but I feel like they also were kind of relying a little bit more on Zeke in the run game. So it's not the question, was he good last year? The question is he better than Mitchell Trubisky? And the answer is yes, okay? Times 10. Okay. I don't know who he's throwing to. I don't even know who plays in Chicago anymore.
Yeah, it's I mean, that's a complete rebuild, I think, over there, right? I mean, they don't have much going on for themselves over there. I mean, kudos to him, I guess, right? So for still playing hard, trying to stay competitive, and he's now going to get a starting job. So
over Nick Foles, the Super Bowl champ.
Right. Nick Foles probably needs to ask, to get himself back in Philadelphia, because it's the only place that you can play well. So
yeah, I mean, the thing is, I've always been an Andy Dalton fan. The guy's a horned frog. He's always been kind of undersized. He's only 6'2". But yeah, I mean,
it's funny how we say that for quarterbacks in the NFL, right? Yeah, he's only 6'2".
He's a little guy. Well, I mean, Nick Foles is 6'6", so it's pretty impressive. But
right.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Chicago's got nobody. I mean, they got Allen Robinson. They got Jimmy Graham, who's going to be 57, I think, this year. They've got David Montgomery and Tariq Cohen, they're good running backs, but I don't think they have what they need to be successful. They're like the Orlando Magic right now. They're just kind of, fighting for a playoff spot.
The Orlando Magic are the best of both worlds in terms of they compete for the most part every night, and they're still losing games to have a lottery pick. I mean,
that's true.
If you're a Magic fan, right? What better thing? What more can you ask for? A competitive team that's going to lose just enough to get you into the lottery.
That's true.
It's great.
That's a valid point.
I have a buddy of mine who's a big Chicago Bulls fan, and we got Wendell Carter Jr. said, "Hell, thank God for taking him off our hands. He's a bum." I'll tell you what, Clyde, Wendell Carter Jr. is playing some pretty damn good ball right now. I mean, the guy's put up, 15, 16 points, in several games. He's only played in like 4 of them, and double-digit rebounds. And looks like a decent player. I mean, is he gonna be an all-star? Absolutely not. I mean, who knows? But doubtful. So, but yeah, R.J. Hampton is doing his thing, and is a nice young, exciting player. So we'll see what the Magic do, man. We'll see what they do. Well, be an interesting watch.
So, what are your thoughts on Kyle Pitts? Kyle Pitts, the massive tight end who ran like a 4.4 40. What are your thoughts? I mean, they're saying this guy's a unicorn.
Unicorn. Can you imagine? So here's the thing, right? Potentially, when you look at it, number 1 pick is going to be who?
It's going to be Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. Number 2 pick Zach right Wilson. Now because of the trade today, Zach Wilson.
Yep.
3rd pick is going to be the 49ers. Do they need a tight end?
No.
Okay. So he's going to go to 4. Who's at number 4?
Who's at 4? Atlanta.
Yes,
quarterback.
Sir. If they're still somewhat believers in Matt Ryan, can you imagine him with Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley?
Okay, I like that, but let's imagine him falling to 5 and going to the Bengals.
No, the Bengals have to get an offensive lineman, or they need to be exiled from the NFL.
That's boring. Nobody wants to draft an offensive lineman in the first round. Dallas did it for 10 years, and it was so boring. And then they drafted Zeke, and I'm like, we're going to win a Super Bowl. And we still haven't.
Nobody's ever going to watch your team when your quarterback is sidelined because they blew out his knee again because he doesn't have an offensive line to protect him. Okay, so at the end of the day, they're going to go offensive lineman. Interesting to see what happens if he ends up with a team like the Falcons, where you already have a big name guy in a Julio, you have Calvin Ridley, you throw him into the mix there. The running back situation isn't great, but at that point, you can almost plug a guy in
Yeah.
because now, I mean, holy crap, what do? You know, you
Well,
can't double Julio. Calvin Ridley running circles around people in the slot.
yeah.
And then this guy's lining up as a tight end, and he's running a 4-4, whatever it is, right up the seam. My God.
But
I mean,
and they're saying, I mean, a lot of people are saying that Atlanta's going to take Kyle Pitts. I think a lot of the mock drafts up there are, but I could also see, Atlanta trading down and doing that as well, because I honestly I don't think the guy from Oregon, Penei Sewell, the offensive lineman they're saying is going to go 1st. I don't think. I think he could fall down to 9, and Atlanta could trade down with Denver, to where Denver could take a quarterback, trade up for a quarterback. I'm just throwing it out there. Kyle Pitts could end up in Miami. Who knows?
Wow. Oh, that'd be an interesting one. I think Miami's going to end up with one of the wide receivers out of Alabama.
DeVonta Smith.
And let me ask you, DeVonta Smith or what's his name? Is it Waddle? What's the other guy's name?
Yeah, Jalen Waddle.
So he seems to be ranked higher than DeVonta Smith. And what are your thoughts on that? Because you have a guy who's a Heisman Trophy winner and does all kinds of stuff in college, but his frame is very, very he's very thin. He's not the biggest guy in the world. So is his game going to translate to the NFL? And not only that, is he the better talent over his teammate, Jalen Waddle?
I think a lot of that you've got to look at the size of the player and the type of wide receiver they are, because now you have different types of wide receivers. You've got your high flyers, you got your speedsters, you got your slot guys, you got your big huge guys that are going to go out there. And I think it really depends on the team that's up there. Somebody like Detroit, I could see taking Jalen Waddle. Somebody like Miami could definitely use somebody like DeVonta Smith. I think it's really just going to be situational as to where they fall. Carolina could end up with either one, and I don't think it would be a bad pick. But the last time Carolina took a big wide receiver, it really didn't work out. That guy from Florida State, whatever his name was. But I think a lot of that is situational when it comes to receivers nowadays. Running backs is a little different. You have kind of, and this again, when we were talking about the NBA draft. The NFL, there's so many different variables you have to look at with your running backs and your wide receivers, because now, like you said, you have your stereotypical tight ends that are blocking tight ends, you have your receiving tight ends, and then you have your freaks of nature that can do it all. And the same thing I think is with wide receivers, where you can have guys that you can move into the slot. You get a guy that's maybe 6'2", 6'3", but he's got a skinnier frame. You can run him in the slot, but you can also use him on the outside as a speedster. But these big guys, you're not going to put those guys in the slot. You're going to have them going across the middle, doing, running massive slants that are, 30, 40 yards out that can go up and get the ball. So it's interesting because, a lot of times when you see these wide receivers, you immediately think, who's their quarterback? This guy gets drafted, who's throwing to him? Because then you start visualizing, is this going to work? And I think that's something that we definitely will have to take into account, because who's the other guys? Jamar Chase, the guy from LSU, is another one of the wide receivers that is, I think he's toted to go in the top 5 for most teams. So he's going to end up, I think, somewhere. Since he doesn't take an offensive lineman, they're going to end up taking a wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, Carolina's. I'm sure they're going to be looking to add some offensive firepower there, especially when they're picking up a guy like Sam Darnold now, whom it provided some wide receivers. I think he can do well. Again, you have an awesome an awesome running back in what's his name, McCaffrey. Add in there now a good wide receiver. You have the makings of something. So interested to see what happens there. But I just thinking about those two guys, and again, the frame of DeVonta Smith is what's a little concerning to me, because I saw something the other day came out. He was like 170 pounds, which is nothing. I mean,
175, 6'1".
Goes down the middle and gets popped one time by a good safety, and good luck with that. You're not getting hit by kids anymore. Now you're going to get hit by men.
Well, the thing is, he's 6'1". Jalen Waddle's only 5'10", and he's got about 15 more pounds of weight on him. But
Yeah.
5'10", I mean, if you're not running a 4.2, you're not going to be running down the sideline much, dude. You're going to be taking 4 steps and turning around and hoping that your head doesn't get
Yeah.
taken off. So
Yeah.
he's going to be
Yeah.
running Jason Witten routes is what he's going to be doing. So
Yeah.
again, I think it's a tough translation. Again, this is going from college to NFL because you can be on an Alabama team that's so dominant that you can be 4'8" and still be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And then moving into these teams that have the top 5 pick, these teams aren't that good. So they don't, compared to the other teams that are in the league. So now you're getting put onto a team that may not have a wide receiver at all. So now you're the go-to guy, and you're 5'10", 180 pounds, or you're 6'1", 170 pounds, and that's something where you got to bulk up. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Devontae Smith with the build he has, where he could bulk up to probably about 200 pounds and still keep that speed. So it's going to be interesting.
I think this draft makes for a lot of interesting stuff because typically, right? So, like you said, and you mentioned that a lot of times these guys go to teams that are not very good, right? Because you're being drafted high up, and the teams are there because they haven't been good, right? So, but what makes it interesting to me is that there's a lot of quarterbacks here, right? So there's a lot of teams that I think are going to make a push to get some of these quarterbacks up there. Which means that some of these skill guys are going to end up falling to teams that are middle of the pack to playoff teams.
Yeah.
Which that to me is pretty damn exciting, right? Because now you have a team that's already competing, like I said, either middle of the pack or towards the, teams that made the playoffs that are going to get potentially some guys that are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
A little later in that first round. So you can start seeing some of these, some pretty good quarterbacks getting some pretty good weapons to add on to their team, except the one team that I'm sure will not pick up a skill position guy. It's going to be Green Bay because they refuse to get Aaron Rodgers any kind of help. That guy,
they're pushing him out into Jeopardy.
I tell you, go do Jeopardy, go do whatever the heck you want, but it's just it's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, they're going to end up going defense, I think, at Green Bay. But, the big thing, and we didn't even talk about this with the draft, is that now Carolina picked up Sam Darnold. Everybody was projecting them to take Trey Lance. And so now Trey Lance is either going to move up or he's going to fall down. And so now, Trey Lance is in the mix with Atlanta and with some of these other teams. And again, like you were saying, with teams that are – you have these teams that are good, like San Francisco with the 3 pick. San Francisco is not a bad team. I mean, they're only 2 seasons out from being in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You look at Dallas with the 10 pick. The only reason they had the 10 pick is because their quarterback got hurt. So these are times where you hate what happened last season, but now you're getting excited about next season because you've got this pick to where you can make a move. And for the most part, all the teams in the top 10 are pretty much trash. But now it's going to be interesting to see what Carolina does, because there's another team that could probably end up taking one of the Alabama receivers now that they don't need a quarterback, and figuring out where Trey Lance is going to go. Because once you get past,
what I was going to say is let's go down the line. You look at it. Obviously, the Jaguars are going to go with Trevor Lawrence. The Jets are going to go with Wilson. San Fran, what I keep hearing is that San Fran's going to end up going with Mac Jones, which is a huge surprise to
him
me,
or Justin Fields,
they really like him over there, and reminds Kyle Shanahan a lot about Matt Ryan. Remember, he was there with the Falcons when they went to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And he also had Minnesota's quarterback. What's his name? When he played with Washington, he was the offensive coordinator
Alex
over there.
Smith?
Nope, not Alex Smith. Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins is had some of his better years over there with him. So apparently, he's a guy from Alabama there that's they're high on. So, but that's San Fran. Atlanta is kind of the one where I think that's where people are like, what the heck are they going to do? Because again, you end up with a guy like Pitts on your lap. What are you going to do? You know what I mean?
Well,
I mean,
you've got to start planning ahead, though, and this is what I'm not understanding with Atlanta is that, we both agree that Matt Ryan is on his way out. At some point, why not take a quarterback like Justin Fields or Trey Lance, or depending on who San Francisco takes?
Is he really on his way out, though? I mean, when you look at him age-wise, how old is Matt Ryan?
He's in his late 30s, right?
Yeah, but we were saying he's 35 years old.
He's the same age as me.
in an NFL where 40 years old, you still have 2 years left.
Yeah.
Right. So when you look at it, if you can get him, if you feel in your Atlanta, if you feel that you're just, a couple of pieces away, why not go out there and get him a nice tight end to add to that offense to try to get you over the hump, right? If you feel like you're just a couple plays away or a couple of guys away.
Well,
Now,
my thing
I don't
is
necessarily think that. I think that
long-term.
they should. I think you start thinking long term, but the problem with that is guys are just playing so long now. He's the type of quarterback that can play for a long time. I don't necessarily think that Matt Ryan is a bad quarterback age wise. I think that he's a bad quarterback just because I think their coach was terrible. I think that Shanahan got him into the Super Bowl with that offense. And then once he left, I mean, it's clear as day that they just gone downhill steadily ever since then. So, but that's going to be the 50-50 shot there in the with the top of the draft, because then you look at Cincinnati. I mean, they have a quarterback. They're not going to go pick out a quarterback. Miami, that's a team right there that could potentially. Do they really believe in Tua? Everything they're saying is yes, but I don't know. I mean, they were big on Watson. I think they were putting all their eggs in that basket. Now, who knows what's going to happen with him?
They're going to go receiver, tight end. I would say
right.
Either Kyle Pitts or one of the Alabama quarterbacks.
But then you look at Detroit. So they pick up Goff. Is Goff the guy that you think that they're going to go with moving forward, right?
Yes, they invested way too much into him to not have him be their guy.
Keep in mind, so we have at this point now we have 3 quarterbacks off the board with the top 3, right? So you still have several guys available. Is Denver going to get a quarterback?
No, they're going to go. They're going to. Well, they might
believe in Drew Lock or whatever his name is. If they believe enough in him, then Dallas is not going to pick a quarterback. The Giants seem pretty happy with their guy.
Yeah.
Philadelphia has Jalen Hurts. They're not going to go to a quarterback. The Chargers, they have a quarterback.
Minnesota
the Vikings have a quarterback.
And then
so New England,
the New England Patriots
comes up. Trey Lance, my friend. The new home.
So here's the thing, though, because you're leaving out some guys. So we got our top. Let's go top 3 quarterbacks, and this is just for the sake of argument. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Williams, and let's go with we'll say Mac Jones. We'll say
okay.
Sorry, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones. We'll go with those 3. Okay, so now we've still got Justin Fields, and we've got Trey Lance. And let's say one of them falls down now to 15. Who are you? Let's say they both fall to 15, based on what you're saying. You've got Fields and Trey Lance ready.
I go Trey Lance.
Okay, so let's say now Trey Lance is off the board. So now you've still got Justin Fields. Now we're going into the 16th pick.
Yeah.
Arizona doesn't need a quarterback.
They don't.
Oakland doesn't need a quarterback. The Dolphins at 18.
See, at that point, if you're Miami and you're looking at it, and you have a guy like that, you're looking at him going, what do we do? But I don't think he's going to get there, because I think at that point, the Washington Football Club, if they got a guy available up there, they'll go ahead and move up and get out in front of Miami. They'll probably go to the Raider spot, or they'll move up over to the Cardinal spot and say, okay, whomever New England didn't pick and is left over, we're going to move up to the Cardinal spot, and we're going to go ahead and pick that guy.
So here's my projection, and I'm with the legend down here. I think Carolina trades their pick. I think they're going to trade down, and whoever moves into the 8th spot is going to be one of those guys that needs a quarterback.
Right, but this still leaves you a guy going all the way down to 15.
Down to 15, right? But either way, so we're projecting the top 5 quarterbacks to go in the first 15 picks.
And here's where I think that New England fans need to just come to terms with this. New England's not going to draft a quarterback. New England is going to grab their first round pick, and they're going to move out of the first round, and then they're going to package up those picks, and they're going to send them to the 49ers for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Ugh.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I don't know if I like that. But
saddle up, New England, because you're going to end up with Jimmy Garoppolo one way or another. And I don't even know if I love that, but I love that more than, Cam Newton.
Well, I think, and the thing is and realistically, I've been known to go out on a limb here. I think Miami is going to end up with Kyle Pitts and Trey Lance in the first round.
And if they do,
in the first round,
that is a fantastic.
That's an A, instant A for the draft right there.
Instant A. You don't even have to keep drafting. You can
I'm
just give up the
projecting
rest
it.
of your picks.
I'm projecting it. Mark it down. It's on the YouTube forever. It's not going anywhere. I'm calling it right now.
That would be absolutely insane. But do you really believe that he's going to fall that far down?
Based on what we're looking at, I think someone is going to take Justin Fields before they take Trey Lance. I think Justin Fields will be the 4th quarterback off the board, and Trey Lance will fall.
I like that because I think I'd like to see him in New England. I just don't think I think somebody's going to trade up to the Atlanta Falcons spot to pick up Pitts. I think he's going to be the 4th pick.
He won't be there.
Quarterbacks. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is he'll be the 4th pick. I think the top 3 picks are going to end up being quarterbacks, and then somebody's going to go ahead and jump up there and pick him up. And if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you're looking at it going, we lost our tight end. Why not go out there and make a splash and go pick up a guy like that and add him?
Oh my God! If Dallas moves up to get him, that would be amazing. But here's another situation. Let's talk about this. You talk about Atlanta trading their pick. What if Denver trades up and takes a quarterback at 4? I mean, it's possible because here's the thing: they don't know what Miami's going to do. And I think that's really the only question right now because Detroit doesn't need a quarterback, Cincy doesn't need one, and Carolina doesn't need one. So really, it's only Miami that's standing in their way from the 4 pick with Atlanta. So I don't know. It's tough, man, because I think Denver's going to take a quarterback, but I think they might trade up to get the quarterback that they want.
Well, here's the deal: if the only way, if you're Denver, that you do not pick a quarterback in this draft is if you absolutely positively believe in the guy that you have in your building right now. And I don't think that they're sold on the guys that they have in there.
No.
So I would say I would not be surprised to see them, make a move to go get a guy like Trey Lance or Justin Fields. Hey, that's where the fun starts, right? When you get teams starting to move around, start, getting a little desperate. But I'd like to see New England, make their way over and pick up a young quarterback, especially a guy like Trey Lance. And you know what? It makes sense for them to do it, Timmy, especially with this offseason because they did spend a lot of money. So when you look at it, the Jimmy G thing, I've heard it time and time again. But Jimmy G still costs you a little bit of money, not as much money as some of these high-end guys, but he's still costing you quite a bit compared to a guy like Trey Lance who you're going to get on a rookie deal.
Right.
And it's a guy that, as much as I'm not the biggest fan of Cam Newton, Trey Lance would fit kind of the system that they're kind of running with, that they're running with Cam Newton right now. You know what I mean? So to me, it just kind of all starts making sense. Even if it is Justin Fields, it makes sense that those are the guys that they're targeting because they went back into the well there and tried that one more time with Cam Newton, saying, okay, we're going to go another year with this guy, and then we'll draft one of these young guys who is more likely than not going to be a guy very similar to Cam Newton that can get out of the pocket, extend the play. So let's go back to him so that when we bring this guy back, into the building, he has something to kind of learn off of, moving forward. And I think with all the money that they spent, I think New England has to draft a guy. I just don't think that they Tim keeps asking me, what do you want? I want Trey Lance. That's the guy that I want. I want Trey Lance. I like to see him in New England. Big body kid. He's got a good arm. And they say he's a smart football player. Similar to, I'm not saying that he's Patrick Mahomes, but similar to Patrick Mahomes in the sense that, he can get out and extend plays, but he can sling the football. And that's what you like to see from those guys.
Well, and I think we both can agree that this move today with the Sam Darnold thing really just threw the entire draft into a whirlwind because it took one of the teams that you knew was going to take a quarterback out of this situation. But I think you're right. I think either Fields or Trey Lance in New England, the thing I like to see is it's almost like a new challenge for Bill Belichick, because when you go from having such a pocket presence, pocket quarterback in Tom Brady, so now you've got a guy that's kind of mobile, it does open up a lot, but it also closes a lot to what you're used to.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you're used to this stereotypical play, and this is what was working, and now we have a guy that can't do that, or doesn't want to
Yeah.
do that, or just instinctively can't do it.
Yeah.
And it's if anything, it's going to show how creative Bill Belichick is going to need to be to figure out how to kind of open up what's best for the team. Because I am not a Cam Newton fan. You and I think we both have agreed that Cam Newton was a flash in the pan, but at the end of the day, he's not the answer.
Yeah.
So it will be nice to see. I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those situations where they do take a quarterback and halfway through the season Cam Newton gets benched for this guy, because either they start out 4-4 or 3-5, and they're like, all right, let's just switch it up. And let's try and go 8-8 and see what we can do.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see Cam Newton not even make the team, to be honest with you. I mean, if they draft a guy, I would not be surprised. His numbers, while they look big as far as the contract, it's not really a big contract. They can cut him and not lose a lot of money. And I think they like Jarrett Stidham. I just think that Jarrett Stidham hasn't had the opportunity to really get out in there. But I think if they draft one of these guys, they'll be willing to roll with Stidham and the draft. And you know what else, Tim? I think New England is experiencing a little bit of pressure, and particularly Bill Belichick, in the sense that Robert Kraft came out and he kind of, some shots at him and said, hey, listen, we haven't done particularly well in the draft, and it's something that we need to correct. So if you're Bill Belichick, you're out there going, you know what, then I can't go out there and do what I've normally done if my owner is talking this crap about me. I need to go out there and get a guy that I know is going to do well. And I think that Trey Lance is probably your better option there. I think Justin Fields has good potential, but I think the more secure guy is going to be, to go along with my theory of coming from the smaller programs. I think it's going to be Trey Lance for New England, and I hope that they land him. So we'll see what happens there.
Well, I know we've covered a bunch here. I did want to touch back. I know last week you talked about Mark Pavelich, the guy that was part of the Miracle on Ice team with the U.S. Olympic team. His death was ruled a suicide, which you hate to hear. I know most of the guys in the chat, you guys know about the Miracle on Ice. If you haven't seen the movie Miracle, I definitely recommend it. Amazing film. But I'm not ending it on a sad note. We'll try and find something else to talk about, but I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention.
Yeah.
Mark Pavelich at the age of 63. Everybody's dying, man. What is this?
Hey, man. Unfortunately, it happens in threes. I say that all the time, and I hate that, but it's just kind of the way it goes down. I will say this, going to the movies, since you touched on Miracle. I saw a movie for the first time that I don't know why I just had not seen it before. Moneyball.
Oh, great movie, dude. Moneyball is awesome.
And let me tell you, I mean, I even had the wife watching it with
Billy
me.
Bean.
And, what a great freaking movie, man. Awesome movie. I mean, it has great actors in there, with Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill. But then on top of that, just the story in general, you know what I mean? And the fact that
it changed baseball.
He's offered, the Red Sox GM job to become, at that time, the highest paid GM in the history of any sport.
Yeah.
And he passed on it. And, and kudos to him for sticking to his guns and saying it's not about the money. I made a decision based on money one time and it bit me in the ass, so I'm not going to do it again. So he went in a different direction. But I think it worked out because the Red Sox went ahead and picked up Theo Epstein, and shortly thereafter went ahead and won a trophy for the first time in 86 seasons. So
yeah,
I think it worked out for everybody. But a great movie. Thoroughly enjoyed it. A lot of good information. Still keeps me pumped up about trying to be something in sports somewhere as far as an organization of some sort. I just think, working in sports and being a part of something like that is probably one of the coolest things in the world, at least to me. So I'll still hold on to that dream to get in there some way, somehow.
And the funny thing is Billy Bean's character, played by
Brad Pitt.
Is great. But Jonah Hill's character playing as Peter Brand, I mean,
Yeah.
he was the one. He's the reason everything happened in the movie.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know about Peter Brand, he's actually Paul De Podesta, and he didn't go to Yale. He went to Harvard actually. But yeah, guy's a genius, man. He's the right now he's the vice president of player development with the Mets. So he's still in baseball. So there you go. And actually is not a chubby guy. He's a very tall, slender kind of guy. So Moneyball.
Yeah, they
Check it
definitely
out.
wanted to go opposite direction with that character because he really did not want to be portrayed in the movie with any kind of likeness or his name. So they had to kind of change it up a little bit. But still, if you do just a little bit of digging, you can find it out, pretty quick.
Why
That,
would you not? I
who
don't
that really is.
understand. Yeah, why would you not
Hey.
want to? I don't know. I mean, when
Yeah.
they make the movie about us, I mean, come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want him to look
Yeah.
just like. I'm gonna play myself.
That's what I'm saying.
They got the
I want it on
CGI
action
thing.
too. Yeah.
Make my face look normal.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody can be me other than me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, great movie. Great movie. Watch that one and man,
I am excited that
I-
you
I-
saw Moneyball. I'm glad you finally watched a movie.
yeah, it was fantastic. Like I said, I had a couple days off this past week and wanted to jump in there and watch some movies and made a point of watching that one. And it was great. It was great.
Yeah, it's a good one, but I think we covered a lot tonight.
We were all
in a
over the
little bit of
place.
we were all over the place, but man, it's that's how sports is right now. I mean, we're just
Yeah.
I mean, the headlines are popping up, and nobody knows. As soon as something comes up, you got to jump on it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
We'll be more structured someday. Just wasn't
someday,
today.
when we
Yeah.
get somebody that can come out here and spend some time to show us what to do, it might happen
Yeah.
someday. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but thank you to you all out there, to Big Tim, Papa Tim, for
legend.
joining us. I know he was very excited to be in the chat, and I really appreciate that. And Bill, I do want to acknowledge what he said on there. That the All-Star game is going to be in Colorado. It looks like for baseball.
A lot of
They
home
went ahead
runs,
and moved
baby.
that. So it'll be fun to see that. But yeah, man, thank you guys all for joining us tonight. Like I said, we were all over the place, but we just like to kind of hit on everything, and it's just casual conversation. This is what our conversations are like. We're all over the place, and we just, what about this? What about that? And yeah, I mean, that's what we're here for. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it, and because we certainly are.
Yeah. So next week we don't know what we're going to talk about because college basketball is going to be over. We'll probably talk about whoever wins the game tonight that is currently being played on CBS.
Wrap up the Masters.
Wrap up the Masters. Who knows what's going to be going on in the NFL and the NBA? But other than that, man, we're gonna let you guys get out of here. Guys, have a great week. Have a safe week. Make good choices. All right, and we will see you guys on the
Right.
sidelines.
Thanks.